This one rule changed my trading. It's called looking left. Looking left is a very simple rule. It's a simple saying, but how you use it can be deeper than just looking left. So I want to explain just how I use the idea of looking left and how it helps me trade better. One of those ideas is obvious. Everyone knows this one. You look left for resistance, prior levels that show that stock couldn't break higher or show some resistance. And so therefore you want to be able to use those levels to short into or to buy into, depending on what you're trying to do. However, you don't just want to look left for your resistance areas or zones or supply and demand zones. Many people use them different names. Support and resistance is what I like to use. You could also use it to see what happened the prior 2 days. I like to use the looking left idea as looking at the last prior 2 days to see what the price action was just before today, because it can kind of tell a story. It can tell me if a stock was just choppy all day the prior day at $10, but then as the market closed, after hours, it goes to $16. Pre-market the next day, it goes to $19, but then starts to fade. That's telling me something. It could potentially be telling me that this was all air that happened in after hours and pre-market. With that in mind, I may be adjusting my thesis. If it spikes now to prior levels because of looking left, which means I saw prior levels of resistance, I may short it now because it showed me by looking left as the big picture in the past 2 days, there's price action that's telling me a story. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a story. I look left on the bigger picture as well. I look on the daily, the weekly, the monthly. I want to see, where is everyone at? Where are the emotions at? Where are the big picture support and resistance areas? Because if those lined up with today, we can have a really nice move. Looking left is all about looking at the history, but I also want to see, how does it act at key areas in the past? Does it hold key areas of support to a T, and does it even budge it at all? Or does it chop around a bit, over under each time? Or does it completely just swipe and then recover? I want to find out by looking at the daily, the weekly, the monthly, and the 30-minute, the 15-minute, the 10-minute, the hourly. I want to find out, how does it act at these areas? Because what that will do is it will allow me to create a thesis and a plan that's suitable for this stock. You get me here? Every stock is unique. That's why I don't want to just show one chart right now and say, when you look left, you see this, you see this. I'm just giving you the ideas, because the ideas is what you need to implement into a thesis to create a plan. So you want to be thinking like this. If a stock respects support and resistance to a T, then you want to make sure that your plan respects it as well. If it doesn't, then you shouldn't. You should be a little flexible. And if it just swipes, you should keep that in mind. You might want to avoid it. You could be using the idea of looking left to determine, do you even want to trade this stock? Is it something that you like to be part of? Because some stocks I won't even touch because they're slow, they're choppy, and there's 3 other stocks on my radar that are real smooth and clean. I'm going to trade those instead. If there's slim pickings today, I may pick that other one. So it's not just as simple as support and resistance, look left. It's, how does it act there? How am I going to create my plan knowing that I know how it acts now? Also, looking left can help me determine, how does it act at the open, the close? I like to look at, what does it do on a typical day when it gaps up? What does it do often, every single day? Does it gap up? Does it gap down? Does it fail wherever it opens? It just fails and then recovers and picks a direction? I want to find out. Does it just tank at the open every day, but then chooses a direction, whether it's to continue to tank or recover and pick an upward trend? I need to know so I can determine how I'm going to implement my plan. Because if you just go into a stock and just say, oh, I get it, look left, there's support down here, I'm just going to buy and be tight, but not really get the idea of what it means to look left, then you may find yourself getting shaken out of a play that you were right all along. But if you were to look left with the idea of not just support and resistance, of how it acts and how it acts when this happens and so forth. If this happens, how does it do this? If you do that, then you would have noticed maybe you need more wiggle room, because this stock does not respect zones as well as stock C. So you need to be thinking this way. Hold on.
Coronavirus!
You also want to be looking at volume when you're looking left. I know we've been talking about support and resistance, but volume on the bottom of the chart tells a story. You need to pay attention to that. If there's resistance at a key area and there's massive volume, that's more important to me than something that doesn't. So something to think about where looking left is not just the chart, it's also the volume. And also profit targets. When I am looking at a chart and I'm already short that chart and I am looking for areas to take profits, I'm looking at prior levels, looking left that have supported to take profits at. Good luck.